In the low-angled sun of an autumn afternoon, Rockport, Maine can in turn seem idyllic, pastoral, tranquil, and industrious.
Just south of Camden, a bit north of Rockland, Rockport and its beautiful harbor are often overlooked, but there is much to see and do here.
Meet the belted Galloway cows of Aldermere Farm. Affectionately known as Oreo cookie cows, they are immigrants from Scotland, where the climate and geography closely resemble coastal Maine. They were brought here by the Chatfield family, which owned the farm for generations until 1999, when the entire property was bequeathed by Albert Chatfield Jr. to the Maine Coast Heritage Trust.
When he passed away, he put in his will that Aldermere would forever be a working farm, demonstration farm, nature preserve, and gave it to the trust with those sort of simple instructions.
The trust manages and preserves Maine lands and waters, but had never been in the working farm business. Embracing Chatfield's mandate, they now run a variety of youth programs and recently added a new visitor center and state-of-the-art barn at Aldermere. Aaron Englander is Associate Director of Stewardship at the farm.
I think the big picture concepts that we want people to take away are we need the land and the soil to survive. It sustains our food, you know, whether it's beef cattle or vegetables or fisheries in the sea. You know, we need these lands, and that just doesn't happen by accident.
It was an unfortunate accident that led Kelly Hokanen to pursue a long-held passion. A serious concussion and other health issues forced her to step away from her job as a software product manager. The idea of a used bookstore first came to her on a hike, and then...
After we'd had the bookstore idea, I dreamed of this space, and I woke up and I told my husband, you know what we could do? We could take a piece of this building that we already have and make that the bookstore. What about a tiny bookstore?
So they carved out a section of her husband's workshop, and voila, the tiny bookshop became Kelly's next chapter.
It's putting the books back into the community, into new hands. I think of it as rehoming books. I want these books to continue to be read and reuse.
Given her health troubles, Kelly has learned a bit about being slightly adrift, searching for meaning, and needing a respite.
For me, I felt like this was something that I could do to put something good into the world and into the community. Create a space that is peaceful and welcoming and cozy.
Ocean views also bring peace, and at Samoset Resort, they are everywhere.
It's come a long way. We've done a lot of improvements since we purchased the resort, and golfers love the amount of ocean views. I think we have 14 holes with water views.
Not to mention views from the pool, the oceanfront cottages, and many of the rooms. A classic New England summer retreat, Samoset first opened in 1899, closed and suffered a fire in 1972, reopened in 1974, and was bought by Ocean Properties in 1999, becoming part of their prized Opal collection. Connie Russell is the resort's longtime general manager.
The most important thing is that they had a memorable experience. The takeaway should be that they want to come back.
People always ask, like, oh, did you have problems as a woman? No, I had more problems as an American, because for most Italians, I couldn't possibly know anything about food.
Actually, Chef Sarah Jenkins knows a lot about food. Born into a long line of Mainers, she left at just 6 months old with her journalist father and food writer mother to live in Beirut, Spain, Italy, and elsewhere.
I ate well as a child growing up. I saw a lot, I absorbed a lot. And then when I came back here, like I said, it was very challenging what was presented to me as food. And that's kind of what made me start learning how to cook.
Returning to Maine for high school, she found the food as bland as a Maine winter compared to the vibrant flavors of the Mediterranean to which she was accustomed. It led her to the aforementioned stint as a chef in Italy, to stops in Boston, New York, and finally home to Maine, where she opened Nina June in Rockport a decade ago.
We marry kind of my Mediterranean knowledge and passion for dishes with the incredible ingredients that we get up here, the seafood, the meat, the vegetables, all of that.
Pasta al limone, lemon pasta with crab on top. As Sarah says, it's where the Mediterranean meets Maine. And they get along just fine.
I hope they feel a little transported to the Mediterranean, to Italy, you know, that they really embrace and love the food, that they see the kind of heart and soul that we put into it. I would hope that somebody understands that, you know, and has a wonderful, fun time.
A wonderful, fun time. A nice summation of Rockport, Maine.
All right, curious about that name, Nina June. Well, Sarah's grandfather suggested it when she was born on June 9th. Her parents said, no thanks, we're going to stick with Sarah, but she liked the name for her restaurant.
I think it's a great name for the restaurant. It's a great restaurant as well. Back to those belted Galloway cows that you see behind us. Well, very interesting stories about them. They're so well adapted to the environment and insulated from the cold that when it snows in the wintertime, the snow doesn't even melt off their backs. They have a very, very thick coat, 2 coats, an undercoat and a top coat. More than happy in almost any climate.
And they're really cute.
And they're also cute.